Johnny Gadget Guy is here at Body Jump Around. He's going to try and fix another goddamn Xbox controller. He is really sick of them, but he does it all for you. He's a bit of a hero, really. You should really goddamn subscribe to him. So here I am with the Xbox, there it is up there. So the first controller I've tried, I successfully paired, which is good. But straight away I can see what they mean by stick drift. So if I press continue here, this is Outer Worlds, by the way. I stopped playing it ages ago, so no idea where I got up to or how to even play this game anymore. But it was good. It's just, I think I'm at that age now where I lose interest too quickly. One thing I do remember is this takes a while to load, so I'll skip past this. Okay, so it has loaded and it's actually much worse than I thought. So this stick doesn't do anything, as you can see. Like this would normally move your head, it's doing nothing. And clicking it does absolutely nothing. So the other stick would also cause movement, nothing, but it does work. If I click it, you see it does that. The D-pad seems to work if you look in the bottom corner there. When I press them, they register. Trigger buttons do absolutely nothing. The bumpers, just press them. See, they work. That one works. That one works. Press the X, Y, A, B button now. So that's the B button and he crouches. A jumps. Y changes weapon. And X doesn't do anything but comma if it's supposed to do anything. Menu button works. And when you go into this menu, you can see it's constantly scrolling through all the items. Now, moving the stick doesn't stop it, moving the directional pad does. So it's almost like this stick is registered as moving constantly to the right. But then what I don't get is if it's stuck looking right, why isn't the character moving to the right, you know? So it's definitely going to need investigation, this one. It's much worse than just stick drift, because obviously the triggers don't work either. I was going to make a part 2 about fixing this one, but I thought you don't really want to watch us do the same thing again, because it's exactly the same type of controller. I would literally be repeating what I've just done. So I'll open this one up, and if I find anything interesting out of the ordinary, I'll start recording again. One thing I've noticed about this one straight away though is that it doesn't seem like it's been opened. These are much harder to get off on this one. The screws have still got the little security post in the middle, and this sticker definitely hasn't been tampered with, so that's a good sign. So just looking at this one, what's interesting about this one is that all the problems seem to be everything that's on this second board here. Like these weren't working, and these are using this board, and the thumbsticks weren't working. They are also on this second board, so this is where my focus is going to be. So on first inspection, this one looks a lot healthier than the last one, to be honest. Can't we see any issues with this board, which is the one I was expecting to see issues with. Doesn't mean there's not any issues with it. The other board does have some like water corrosion on it. So the first thing I'll do is clean both boards up, We'll see if that makes any difference. So I've very loosely put it back together. There's no screws holding it on. And I've come to the Xbox controller tester thing on the Xbox. And as you can see, it's constantly still registering that the right stick, sorry, that the thumbstick on the left is constantly going right. But it does let it test out other things, so I can see that the D-pad registers and A, B, X, Y buttons register, the right and left bumpers register, both triggers still don't register, but I can press the thumbsticks and they register. But if I turn the thumbsticks, either thumbstick in either direction, it doesn't register them. So that's quite strange. Pressing these thumbsticks works, and obviously right, it's registering right in that controller as well, that analog stick. So it sounds like it's definitely problems with that board, which isn't good. Okay, so it's the next morning. I've had a little sleep on it, and I actually watched a My Mate Vince video for inspiration. Because he was fixing a job lot of Xbox One controllers, and his had a big like slice through it, which had cut some traces on the board. And I just thought, I'll have a little look, and I couldn't see anything. But then, at the corner of my eye, I noticed this. And I'm going to try and zoom in here so you can get a better look at what I'm talking about. So that's the best, closest I can get without it going blurry. So you can see that crack right there. You see it? So it starts here and it cracks right across there, and it's broken 1, 2, 3, possibly 4, and the other side 5, 6, and it actually goes to that leg of this chip here, which is a pain, but it would explain why a lot of things aren't working on this board. What doesn't explain to me though is why the this stick is stuck as if it's turning right. When you've got traces broke, I would expect it not to work, not to be stuck in a certain position. But that's definitely a problem, so we're going to try and fix it. And the way I'm going to try and do it is scraping back some of this green stuff, I forgot what you call it, to expose the copper traces, and then I'm going to try and solder them with a bit of wire. There is better ways of doing it. You can actually get like conductive ink pens, which might work. I've actually ordered it, but they're not going to come for ages, so I've just got to use primitive methods and try and solder a wire on and see if that gets it working or not. So I'll start by scraping back some of this stuff anyway on both sides. Right, so what I'm going to use to scrape away the green stuff is this blunt Stanley knife. Yes, there's better tools, of which I do not have. Right, so let's go. So I've scraped away as much as I think I need here, and if I do some quick continuity tests across the traces, let's see which ones are actually broken. That one somehow still works. That one's broken. That one's broken. That one's getting smaller, these traces. That one's broken. That one's alright. So it's 1, 2, 3, and I should, even though that one's not broken, I should still run a wire across it because it's got a bit crack through it. I don't know how it's still got a connection. Unless it's a ground one, it's connected to some other part of the board as well. It's kind of went around it. Interesting. Right. Well, this is going to be fiddly. Really fiddly. So I'm going to start by just trying to put some solder on these copper traces here. You never know, I might actually bridge it because it is such a small crack. I can actually bridge it just with the solder. Probably not though. But I've got this kind of wire. It's the thinnest stuff I can find. And to be honest, it looks a bit thick for some of them traces. I'm not very confident I'm going to get this working, to be honest, which is a shame. Just waiting for the old soldering iron to heat up. I think that's ready now. See if it melts the solder. Not quite yet. It's a cleaner tip. There we go. Right, so I've already got a little bit of flux on here to help the solder flow. Just going to run the tip of the soldering iron with some solder on across these traces, and I can see it's bonding with some of them. Let's put a little bit more on. Right, let's see if that's making a difference. I'll just clean that flux off first. Just give that a sec to dry. Okay, let's get the meter on it. Yes, all existing bricks are still there. So I have to try with this wire. Right, so I've got a nice big long piece here. I'm going to try and put some solder on this wire as well. I'm just going to flux it up a little tiny bit. And put some more on here. Don't forget I've got the other side of the board to do as well, if this actually works. Right, let's try and put this wire across here. I'm just going to try and put a bit more solder on these pads. But oh god, when am I going to get my fan out? It's me multimeter whinging that I haven't turned it off. You know, I think I'm wasting my time here. This wire's far too thick. So I'm back and I've found some better wire for this job anyway. So this is like speaker wire. I found I had this little speaker in from an advent calendar I got at Christmas. So I snipped the wires off the end of that. And as you can see, I've got some lovely thin little strands of wire. So I've just scraped back where I ripped off the trace. I've just scraped it back a bit further up the board to make a contact there. So I'm just going to drop a bit of solder on them new exposed copper traces. Thought I had solder on, yeah. Right, try holding this with my hands first. Hope it doesn't get too hot. Well, that went across a lot easier. That was so much better. Right, I was still going to find bloody wire cutters, so I'm going to have to use these. I'm going to do a little continuity test across there. I wish I could zoom in further so you could see a bit better, but this camera just doesn't have the capability, it seems. So I'll try it up here. Perfect. I'll just try the trace next to it, make sure it's not contacting with anything else. So no, it seems to just be that one place that I wanted to. So we'll do that for the other ones. Right, so that's done now. I've tested continuity and there's no shorts. They all connect to where they should do. So for the other side of the board to do, for the other side of the board to do, so I'm just going to cover this with some Captain tape for now, just to keep it a bit more secure. Obviously, if the plan is to sell this, I'm going to have to do something to cover these wires up. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, if this actually works. There's that multimeter beeping, is it again? Alright. Okay, that'll do for now. And so I'm going to do the exact same on this side. I'm just going to scrape across the crack, test for continuity, and if there's continuity I don't need to do anything. If there isn't continuity, I need to do the same again with the speaker cable. Right, I think we're going to expose now. Let's see what the damage is. Turn it on first. Yep, so they're all broken. There is 1, 2, 3. One goes directly on the leg of this chip. Right, let's do the same again. I'm going to scrape it back a bit further as well, so I've got a bit more room to solder onto. So I got there in the end. This was seemed to be a lot more fiddly. So it's done now. I'll stick some cap tape over this side as well, and I'll put it back together and we'll test it out, see if we've got anywhere. So this is the moment of truth. I'm using this game controller tester on my laptop. Here he is connected up. So then, what happens when I pick him now? So it still works, which is good. New interface, start testing, controller 1. Oh my god. They work. Battery digest, that was shown off there. Okay, that's so the thumbsticks work. The triggers work, which are two things that weren't working before. That works. X, Y, A, B work. Pressing the thumbsticks works. Ooh, but the D-pad doesn't work. Now it was working before. And if you also look, this button, the is stuck on. That one. Does the Xbox button work? I think it opens Steam if you press it, but something happened there. Yeah. That is progress. I'm glad to see them thumbsticks working again. So I've just got to find out why that button is stuck on now, which is annoying, and why the D-pad has stopped working. We're getting there. So I'm looking at the next board now. You fix one and the other one stops working. So there was a problem with this now, the D-pad, and there was a problem with this button always being on. So let's look at the D-pad first. Now, everything feels nice and clicky. Nothing's jumping out straight away. I might try and do is just peel this up, because maybe there's some IP or something stuck underneath here. So this could go horribly wrong. Let's peel it up so all 4 contacts are exposed. Everything looks alright. Stick that back down for now. It's quite a sticky pad, so it seems to stick down quite easily again. Okay, so I can't see anything obvious with that one. So the next one is, I think it's this button. Just look at the controller. Yes, it'll be this one. So this one is always registering as on. So if we follow the tracks down where they're going, there for one side, another one goes all over the place. Let's follow this one then, D5. Down here, it was that one, wasn't it? Down here, through the board here. So which one is it? Which one is it? It's that one. So it comes out here. So it comes out here, then back through the board again. Here. Through the board again. Into here, and these pins go through into the other board, which is the one we just fixed. So maybe it's a problem on the originally broken one. If I follow that right anyway. Through there. Did I follow right? Hang on. So start there. And here, through there, 2 secs. So properly tracing now, when it comes out through there and connects to this pin just here. Second in from the right. So what happens if we test continuity from here to there? Let's have a look. Okay, so first things first, let's just this is going to be quite hard to do first time, but first of all, is this? So you can see there, it's not because what normally happens, you press down these, and that pushes down here and closes the circuit, which tells us that the button's been pressed. So if that button was constantly pressed, I would expect to get continuity between here and here now, but it hasn't. So is this somehow always pressing it? Which way around does that go? That'll be like that. So it's this one. It'd be interesting to see what would happen, what it does when I don't have this on. Obviously none of the buttons will work, but it's going to be interesting to see if without this on, if the button says press, because if it is, it means it's nothing to do with this, it's something to do with the circuitry. But if it's not pressed, then it is something to do with this. Although I can't see what, because it's literally the most basic thing, and it's not constantly pushed down like you can see when it's pushed in, and it's not right now. Okay, so I tried it without the rubber membrane, and the menu button was still pressed, but it only became pressed when you pressed any other button on the controller. So what I've got now is this Xbox controller is like hanging together, and if I press, oh God, what I was trying to show you is if I press the menu button, nothing registers, but as soon as I press any other button, that button becomes permanently on. So it's nothing to do with the rubber membrane thing, it's definitely something to do on the board. So I'm going to have a look at the soldering I did before and just do some more testing on that. Okay, so one thing I've noticed, but still wouldn't make sense to me why it would mean the button's always on, is that so all my new traces are fine, but there was a third one here which I didn't do because when I tested it, it was fine. So I thought maybe I was going to add some solder on it, kind of bridge the gap, but I've just tested it now, and the connection's broken, so I'm going to have to get the soldering iron back out and do that again for that one trace, and it goes from a leg on this chip to here, which you'll never be able to see, but trust us, it's there. So we'll see what we get once we've done that. I was going to say as well, I totally forgot to test the D-pad when I was back on the laptop, so that broken connection might explain the broken D-pad, but actually no, it doesn't, because the D-pad was working before and that was broken then, so it explains absolutely nothing. But let's just fix it anyway and see what happens after that. Alright, we're in business. Another fiddly one. There's no shorts, I've tested that again. Nice little job. I'll try and take photos of close-ups of both sides and show you them now, so you can see what's been done. Now, to make this a permanent fix, I'll have to cover them with something to protect them and to make sure that they don't move somehow and create a short between each other. But let's see what state this is in now. So a moment of testing. Here's the zombie Xbox controller. You ready? Ooh, look! I can press that button now, and every other button I press doesn't make that one always on. Press that. D-pad. Oh, well, half the D-pad works now. Half it doesn't. Oh god. Oh my god. And that left thumbstick doesn't seem right. Like I haven't got the front cover on, so it can move as much further, but that's extended all the way down, and it's only 76%. X seems okay. Right, so we're still not quite there yet. Back here again. So what was interesting though was that half it started working after all we did was lift this up, this sticky thing. I'm really sick of looking at this thing now. Unbelievable. So what have we got? So these two work, these two register nothing. So can we test? Can we test if it registers a button click? So we need to look where the circuit goes. So we need to look at where the circuit goes so we can test each end of the circuit when we press the button, see if it completes the circuit. If it does, weird. If it doesn't, then at least we can pinpoint something on with these, you know. So I'll try and trace them off camera because that's going to be really boring to watch us point at something with a pair of tweezers. Okay. So with great difficulty I've managed to test continuity by pressing the button and testing the back of the board if it completes the circuit. One thing I did notice that might come in handy for anyone else trying to do this is that on top of these buttons it's got SW9, SW12, SW10, SW6. There's testing points in the back labelled D6, D9, D10, D12. Like, whoops. Like here's one for D10 here. So you can just press the button and put your probes on either side of that. You can test if the circuit's closed. I'll save you the anticlimax of taking you back over your laptop. But it does work. These work, right? I've pressed all 4 of them and they work fine. But when I use it with this, they don't. And that's because, like if you listen, oh, you might not be able to hear it. But these 3 are quite clicky. This one isn't so much, and it was actually like that when I first got it, but I thought it'll be alright. And it must have been actually, because I'm sure it worked when I first tested it, but obviously me peeling this off has made it worse. So I need to look up ordering, see if I can just get this sticker thing with the metal pads on it and see if I can replace it. I'm also going to look up, see if I can get another joystick, because this wasn't right. When I first tested it, there was a slight bit of what you call it again? Drift. That's it. Drift forwards. Watched a few YouTube videos because Contact Cleaner didn't do anything for this one, and someone suggested turning this dial here counterclockwise if you had forward drift, which I did it, and it made it much worse, and I can't get it back to how it was, even though before it was broken still. It was a lot better than what it is. So I'm going to see if I'm going to do one of these as well. I have no idea how much they cost. All these. I'm going to look it up now and we'll see if it's worth it. But that's the last thing wrong with it, if it is. So then, happy days, you can get them. What's its official name? Controller D-pad button metal dome conductive something is only £1.59, and the analog sticks are only £2.99 for one. I've bought 2 because it's only an extra £1. I don't need 2, but I'll have a spare one. But I'll count it as £2.99 because if I was just fixing this, it would be £2.99. But I'm just buying another one for myself. If I should need it in the future. So order them up, and when they come, we'll fit them. Hopefully, that's the end of it. So I'll see you again. I'll carry on this video when they come. I'll have a little rest from Xbox controllers because, to be honest, I'm sick of the bloody sight of them. Hello, I'm back. I've got both the bits from eBay fresh this morning. We'll start with this. We're going to desolder the old one, solder this one on, leave this bit till last. That should be the easiest, I hope. So let's do that now. Let's get the soldering iron out. So I think it's all these ones on the outside. And so it's them, all them have to be desoldered. And I've had this flux pen for ages and I thought, let's get it used. So I'll use this as my flux, and you just push it in and flux comes out. Magic. Right. Flux shoes up. And all I'm going to use is this little tool, solder sucker. So you basically push this down, that sets it. I'll have the soldering iron tip on here, and when it melts, it's a case of just putting this next to it, pressing this button to the side, and as you can see, that goes up, sucks, and it's supposed to suck the solder out into here. So I haven't really used that much, so let's see how good it is. Right, now it's heated up. I've got it set to 400. Let's see if that's high enough. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit for you. That's a bit better for you. Okay, let's see if I can melt this. There we go. It's going liquid now. Can I suck him up yet? Cameras are right in my way. Right, so a little bit did come off there because you kind of, oh, it's gone out of focus. Is that enough? Let's try and do a little bit more. I think that's enough actually. I'm just going to go around and do that for the rest of them though, and then I'll start the video again. So there we go, solar's been sucked out, and I'm hoping this should just plop off like that. There we go. So there's the bit we're replacing. Put them to one side, and here is the new one. There's a new one. When I get them to focus. So it's just a case of now these through hole soldering things are so much easier than surface mount. So just plonk him through there. Fits nice and snug like a glove. Make sure he's all the way through. That is the right way around. Yep, I'm happy with him. So now it's just a case of getting some solder and soldering the other side. So it was all these bits and these two bits over this side as well that I had to desolder. So it's quite a lot of soldering points for one joystick. Right, I'm not going to use the flux pen for this bit. I'm going to get me flux paste out if I can find it. So this is what I use. It's no clean flux paste normally. It says no clean, but I still clean it. Right, so we'll just put this on all here, open the solder, help the solder flow. Perfect, that'll do. Where's my solder? Right, so I've got my solder, we are ready to solder. Just heat up the bit that you're soldering first, and then there you go, and it's ready. The solder will just melt onto it. It's perfect. There we go, all soldered. I actually did some again because I noticed when I finished this side it was actually lifted up a tiny bit, so I just desoldered them again and pushed this down. I had some solder under me solder and I just pushed and then just put a blob on to make sure it was firmly down, so I'm a lot happy with it now. You may be looking at, oh, that looks burnt, but that's just the flux. I just need to get some cotton buds and my old alcohol and just clean that up because it's all sticky off the flux. And then that's ready. So the next bit we'll do is, well, we've got this bit on here. Well, actually, I've actually got some this. It's the solder cure. So you just inject it on and use a little UV light just to cover these traces that are fixed. So that's next. So let's squirt some of this on. I've never used it before, so let's see how it goes. Oh god, I'm just gonna, that's a lot, I'm just gonna put that there for this. Came a lot quicker than I thought it would. Right, that looks alright actually. And then you have a little UV light. I'll just zoom in so you can see what it looks like actually. There we go. It's my little UV light. So this should harden it, cure it, whatever the hell the word is. I don't even know how long I'm supposed to do this for. Right. It's probably been about 5 minutes. I definitely put that on too thick because the top layer hardened but underneath didn't. So kind of push it down on the bits that were underneath, squared out the sides and kind of spread out a bit, which is fine. I'm just poking it with the tweezers every now and then to see if it's hard yet. So that's still not hard. Could do the other side yet as well. That was probably about 7 minutes and it's nice and hard now. So we'll do the other side and I'll put this on much thinner. Well, I'll try to anyway. This bit just hanging off the edge, the tip. So I'll just try and use him if I can. Should hopefully do it. See you in 7 minutes. That was probably about 3 minutes. I probably did it much quicker, but just checked over 3 minutes. So it definitely makes a difference when you spread it out thinner, which is all you need for something like this. You don't make a gloop of it on top of tiny little traces like this. So that is done now, and that should stiffen up that crack as well. So that's hopefully this bit fixed. And the last bit is this easy bit, I say that, just putting this on, so we'll do that now. So I'll start by just cleaning the area, try and get all the sticky residue off. Since we're going to be sticking a new one down, we don't want to stick it on top of all the stickiness. Give it a good scrub. Look at that one. Alright, let's give that a sec to dry. So the new bit is this, get out of its pack. And to make it a bit easier, if you look on here, you've got a hole here and here. And they line up with the holes on here, here and here, to make it nice and easy. Stick it down in exactly the right place. So which way around does it go though? That way. So all I do is stick some tweezers in them holes and I can position it right. I'll show you anyway. Just let that dry a sec more. Right. So which one did I say that went? So when it goes, it'll only fit one way, I think. Yeah, it's that way around. Peel them off. I've only got one of these, so we've only got one shot. And do you know what it is? I forgot which way around it went again. Annoyingly, my battery died just as I was sticking that down, but it went down lovely. So you can see what I mean with these holes. So I kind of put my tweezers through one hole, stuck that side down, then positioned the other side, stuck my tweezers through there, to fit through perfectly, and then just push this down all around. And if they're much clickier than the last one, lovely them. That's well satisfying. So you know what? I think that's all repairs done on this board, on this controller I should say. So I'm going to loosely put it together, test it, and if it's okay, take it apart again and we'll give everything a lovely clean and it'll be done. Right, so I've just got this plugged in my laptop with this game controller tester. It's doing some bit of testing. You can see both triggers work. This works, and the moment of what's the word I'm looking for? The moment of what? I can't remember. Basically the thumbstick works anyway. Now let's check how sensitive it is. That's nice. I think that's really nice. D-pad. No. I thought the D-pad wasn't working there, but it's actually the cable mustn't be properly. And this something. Let's try that again. Now it's connected again. D-pad. Phew. D-pad works. Can't test the shoulder buttons, but they were fine anyway. Can I press them? Yeah, shoulder buttons do work. That's everything working. So now the next bit is to give it a good clean. I'm not going to bother showing you that. I'm just going to wash in the sink with some soapy water, all the plastic bits obviously, just like I did with the last one, and then I'll show you it all reassembled and we'll do some more testing again because it was quite weird that it disconnected. I don't know if it's this cable or if it's because I'm with the shell on so it's disconnected, but we'll find out once I put it all back together. So let's find out. Right, he's all back together. It's looking rather snazzy now, nice and clean. Let's hook them up, and as you can see, everything works a dream. I also quickly tapped the pins on this connector just in case there was anything to do with that, why I was disconnected before, and it's been rock solid since. But it might just been that it wasn't fully back together. But anyway, everything appears to work perfectly. So this one is good. Good to go. I'll obviously test it to connect to the Xbox as well before I put on eBay, but that'll be fine. So that's coming next. Well, you have as well, I did manage to sell the PDP controller. So there he is, he sold for $18.99, buy it now. I paid for postage on this one though. So far in the challenge, we are now at, so there's my fee for selling it. Where's my cursor gone? So postage was £2.95, eBay fees £1.90, PayPal fees 85 pence. And I've added that on my income now, so $18.99 there, which means my profit or loss currently is now £13.91. So once I sell this, hopefully I'll get at least 20 for it, then that might be zero at the end of it. Let's wait and see. Anyway, here comes how much I sold this one for now. So there you go, there it is on screen. £23.50, £3.70 postage, £27.20 I got. But you've probably noticed it says total amount refunded. And that's because I had to refund the buyer. Because even though the tracking said delivered, the buyer got in touch straight away and said, the tracking says delivered, I haven't received it. So this went on for about a month, backwards and forwards. Eventually, I had to put a claim in the Royal Mail and they gave us £23.70 back because £20 was the maximum I could claim and me £3.70 postage. So unfortunately, it didn't turn out very well. But for the purpose of this challenge, I'm going to pretend that didn't happen, and the person got the control, I got the money, everyone's happy. Yeah, just sometimes happen on eBay. you're always skeptical of the buyer, but you just have to assume the best. So they either got their money back or they got their money back and a free controller. Right, so let's get the spreadsheets out and see how we're doing. So there we go. £2.72 eBay, £1.9 PayPal, £3.58 postage. Yeah, so let's see the big final number. Oh, we're finally in the green. Boom. £5.90. Lovely green colour. First time we've seen it. So Tripe, Tripe to treasure. Um, after weeks and weeks of work, many hours of my time, buying and selling all kinds of stuff on eBay, I've made £5.90. It's probably equivalent about 0.5 pence an hour. So, is it worth selling stuff on eBay as a business? No, I don't think so anyway. But at least we're in the green. Gives a bit more money for the next purchase. Now, I'm probably going to take a bit of a break from Tripe to Treasure for the minute, because I'd like to put other videos out. So yeah, that's where we are. Thanks for watching. I'm sorry the video was so long again. I'm going to try and stop that. If anybody who actually watches this, thank you, and I'll see you for the next time. Good night!